we offer the Book of the Truth too at the AkHi University, which is the AkHi theme is put the guns down and the gloves up. And this the Book of the Truth right here. So when you do open it, you get split decision. Me and Professor Nen going at it. We'll see who's gonna win today. Riggin' I had a split decision win. Gary Russell had a unanimous decision win. So we'll see what me and Professor Nen bring it to the table today. So that being said, pleasure to have you, Professor Nen, and speaking to you today. As
Salute,
always,
fam.
we have Gary Russell. He fought yesterday. We watched the fight. Obviously, we had a lot to say, but I want to start it off. Gary Russell has had plans to move up in weight to 135.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought he was fighting a guy that was a 135-pounder because he was just so big. He was a silver medalist, and he defeated the same guy who beat Shakur in the amateurs, Ramirez.
Yeah.
Of course, that's not much to say because he was making his debut, but this guy was very good. So speak of the fight and what you saw and your whole perspective on that fight in particular, and Gary Russell comments about moving up in weight, skipping 130.
Yeah, so I've been described as a little critical of Gary Russell, particularly not his skill set or what he brings to the ring as far as fight IQ, but it's his inactivity and some of the excuses that might come with that inactivity. So this Saturday, he fought Nayan Bayar, who is a silver medalist, as you said, from I believe the 2012 Olympics. He represented Mongolia. He's a pretty good puncher. This was only his 12th, right? Or was it his 13th? I think it was, yeah, but it was like
I think it was his 13th, yeah.
Yeah, so he was, so he hadn't had, but I think all of his wins have come by knockout or TKO, except for 2 of them. And pretty good puncher. From what I've seen, the tape that I've seen on him, he can get dropped. He's been dropped a couple of times, and he leads his sub. I don't really like his hand placement, but against Gary Russell, he did seem to be the naturally bigger guy. He came forward, seemed to have a pretty good fight plan, but I think that was also helped along by Gary just seeming a little off during this fight. He wasn't as sharp as I'm used to seeing him. He's got some of the sharpest combination. His pivot, his footwork is on par with some of the best, maybe right below Lomachenko, but up in there in that range.
You think it's due to inactivity?
Absolutely. That's what I think. I think it's not fighting the top level fighters and just fighting your mandatories. And, as they say, iron sharpen iron, steel sharpen. So you need to be going ahead and not just sparring your brothers, because he's got 3 or 4 brothers that are fighting. They fall on the
same card.
They fall on the same card. History. He worked the corner, so he was doing a lot and not just have this really, really sharp focus into the fight. But also want to give Nayan Bayar credit. He fought a good fight. He showed that he was there and not just there to be an opponent. He was trying to win the whole way. And I think he's going to come away with a few more fans. He actually, from the tape that I've seen, I went and watched at least about 4 of his fights. I thought Gary Russell was going to take him out. You said a 10th round knockout.
Yeah, but I told you I wouldn't be surprised because supposedly every tune-up fight went to distance. So I knew. Yeah. I didn't really thought Gary was gonna get the win 100% by KO. However, I did pick him to win for sure. Now, speaking of Gary Russell, the reason why he is inactive, because he can't get the big names. That's part of the reason why he's inactive. So it ain't much he could do. Because if he stay active, fighting unknown fighters, they're going to bash him for, oh, you ain't fighting the big names. Just like they do to Charlo and Andre. Because they tell him, oh, why, that's why I always tell you, that's what they supposed to do. Stay active in case one of these big names get ready and got the cojones to hop in the ring. Mm-hmm. So Gary Russell, he's making that huge mistake that Riggin made. They fall on the same card too, which is wait too long. Just fight your mandatories one time a year. Instead of staying active, take whatever money you could get fighting whoever and stay active and look sharp and have the fans pressuring these guys to fight you. And that's why I love what Charlo and Andrade is doing. Apply pressure through the fans. So Gary Russell has to apply the same method. He went on PBC, called out Cruz, nothing happened. He went on PBC, called out Mares, nothing happened. He stayed waiting and he will wait forever, just like Riggin if he doesn't let the fans apply pressure for him. So that being said, Gary Russell, one thing when we was watching the fight, I was telling you, he need to vary his offense, not just his offense. I mean, like power wise. Throw a hard, stiff jab like Andre Ward used to do when he fights his opponents. Yeah. Just because, you know, a stiff jab, a snappy jab, it's not like a stiff jab, because a snappy jab, you know, you won't be able to get countered, but your opponent will walk right through it. Yeah. You won't have him second guessing. You know, a stiff jab would be like, man, I got to think twice before coming in, because he's going to catch me with that and throw me off guard. So Gary Russell had to mix his shots. He will go either one mood, which is, you know, just throw snappy punches for the rest of the round, or he will start the round, you know, going toe-to-toe, throwing hard punches. You have to vary it. And when I say vary it, I mean on so many different levels, from varying your speed, throwing a fast punch, slow punch, set him up, and then vary your power, throw a stiff jab, a hard jab, a snappy jab, and then the last thing is vary your offense as far as, you know, different punches thrown from uppercut to hook, you know, give different looks, which he does that. Up and down. He does. Yeah, he does that. The only thing is this
when
is
he's
speed.
Sharp. Yeah, when he's sharp.
But of course, he fought a silver medalist too, you know, so we got to keep that in mind. So him moving up to 135 and skipping 130, what do you think about them comments? Do you co-sign him after what you seen tonight? Because we got to give credit to his opponent. His name was
Nayan Bayar.
Yeah. You got to give him props. You got to give him props. He stayed composed. He was applying pressure. And so them comments, him moving up to 135, seeing the dangerous opponents at 126. What do you think about them comments alone, especially when he's not active? You want to move up 2 weight divisions and you not even as sharp as you should be.
I don't see it. I don't think with that performance he's gonna give anybody pause. And I'm speaking of the big boys, Tank, Lomachenko, and Lopez. He's already fought Lomachenko, of course. I thought the good fight that was on hand seemed to be what we were working towards was his fight against Tevin Farmer. Tevin Farmer didn't necessarily hold up his end of the bargain, but I want to give his opponent all due credit for that for Diaz. But at this time, I think that Leo Santa Cruz might come calling after that, after seeing a unsharp Gary Russell Jr. I think Leo might be like saying like, "Hey Gary, you remember what you was doing to my pops? Let's get it on."
I wish he would. That's all I have to say on that one. Now, as far as him moving up to 135, I agree with the people on the chat. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to everybody in the chat. To my man too, from Cuba. That's my guy, man. He rocks with me since day one. Carol. His name's Santos Deuce. I think he clowning Cruz with that name. I'm not too sure. But that being said, he cannot skip 130. He has to go to 130. I don't care who he fights. He needs a fight at 130 to fill it out, to see even, because, you know, that's a huge jump from 126 to 135. Yeah. Gamboa was one of the best 126 pounders. You know, I don't know if he could be beat at that weight almost. And he moved up to 135. You seen, like, he could no longer use his size, his speed, his power, because everything is different at 135. It was just too much of a weight jump. And Gary Russell was almost the same height as Gamboa, and he's not as big, and I don't think he crack as hard. No, so at 135 is not his weight. And Gary, my guy, but I think he should stick to 126. And if he want to move up to 130. And if he's gonna fight a Gervonta Tank Davis, let it be 130. So that being said, can you hit the bell so we could move on to the next round?
Yeah. And I appreciate the comments.
And if y'all have any question, y'all can always throw the super chat, and you know, we will definitely talk about it. And salute, fam, salute to all my AkHis. That being said, Professor Nim, the next fight, or a dream fight for the fans, is Shakur versus Gary Russell. Now they friends, however they calling each other out. That's possibly the only fight that could be made where the fighters are willing to fight each other. So, can that fight take place? And if it does, who you favor?
I definitely wanted to say something. So this one was a little bit up there in this Sanctus Dos Cror, I want to say, says if you get paid to fight, you're a pro fighter. Lomo used a clause made by AIBA to earn money, maintain his amateur status, but it was irrefutably wasn't his second pro fight when he fought Salido. And that is common knowledge, but at the same time, he's not the only person that was able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, well, he took advantage of it. Loophole. Props to him, but I'm saying it still was experience. I mean, you gained more experience fighting them guys that he fought with all the talent they had than just 5 fighters that they there to lose. They brought in to lose. Those guys came to win with no headgear, and you won 6 rounds. When you turn pro, you usually go 4 rounds against somebody that's brought in to lose. So of course, still experiencing him feeling comfortable fighting without headgear. Now that being said, my man 559 on the phone. How you doing, AkHi? State who this is and where you calling from.
This is Jules Alash from Fresno, California.
Great to talk. Great talking to you again, fam. How you been?
Appreciate it, bro.
Oh, I'm great. I'm calling in because I usually agree with what you say, like 90% of the time.
Yes, sir.
But yesterday you confused me, AkHi, when you made the Gary Russell Jr. video. Do you think King Tut is a good fighter, or do you think he's like a upcoming fighter? What's your stance on it? Because you confused me.
Who?
The
King Tut from Gary Russell Jr. fought yesterday.
Oh yeah, I think he a good fighter. He impressed me because he stayed composed and stuff like that. So I didn't know he was that good prior to the fight. I mean, I heard that he was a silver medalist, and you a silver medalist. Last silver medalist from the U.S. was Shakur. So I knew he was semi-good, but I didn't know how good he was. So I thought Gary was going to stop him because I think Gary one of the best 126-pounders. So when he did perform, he gave Gary a lot of problems, in my opinion. I think Gary won comfortably, but he still gave Gary a tough time. Gary fought at a pace he wasn't comfortable with.
Yeah. One of Gary Russell Jr.'s weaknesses is fighting in the pocket. And King Tut, what a lot of people know about him, if you watch his fight, he's also a fast boxer. He has good hand speed and he has good footwork. So when he was fighting Gary Russell Jr., Gary Russell Jr. came in and he said, "This is going to be a chess match. This isn't going to be a match where I'm just going to be able to just outbox him and I'm just going to be able to flash him like I do with most of my other opponents." And he said that, and it's like a lot of fans and a lot of people that don't know about King Tut, they overlooked him, and they basically thought that he's just gonna be a punching bag all over again, just like the normal opponents that he usually fights. But no, he put up a good fight, and his game plan was to put him in the pocket because he knew that that's one of Gary Russell's biggest weaknesses. Gary Russell Jr. he has good strength as far as power, but his punches are like, they remind me of the Flash from the DC comics. His punches, they're like accumulation punches. Yeah. They're not punches that like one hit quitters like Mike Tyson or Deontay Wilder or somebody like that.
Speed could translate to power, but the thing about, like I said, Gary, when he throws punches, sometimes he snaps. When you snap a punch, you're not putting leverage behind it. You're not, turning your body how you're supposed to, like all the way. Like Rigondeaux, when he throws his left compared to Russell, Russell is just kind of leaning forward with his shoulder to pop you with the left. He's just trying to land. Meanwhile, Rigondeaux, he's trying to punch through you. So, I think Gary has punching power when he chooses to, exchange or sit in the pocket like he did at some points of the fight.
And then sit down on his punches.
Yeah, when he sit down on his punches, he has power. And with the speed he has, if you don't see the punch coming, it's going to hurt you. But it ain't natural power. Like, it ain't no destructive power like Rigondeaux or Pacquiao or none of that.
Or Tank Davis.
Or Tank Davis, yeah.
But for me, what I saw early on in that fight was that I thought that Nayamba had actually... I wouldn't say hurt Gary Russell, but really got his attention early on with a couple of right hands. And then to me, that when we noticed when Gary Russell was throwing some of his combinations, right, he was throwing them, but his intention was to get out of there after, as soon as I finish up this combination, I need to make sure that I'm moving my feet and pivoting to kind of get out the way. And then that's going to take away some of your power because you're not committed to punch all the way through the target, right? Yeah. So you want to hit the target and then be able to kind of get out the way.
So while he punching, basically what Professor Nim saying is while he punching, his feet is already stepping to the outside. Like he already stepping out. So he's not fully committing to his punches and he's not sitting down. But I think he a good inside fighter. I don't think he can't fight in the inside. I think he fights in the inside more comfortably than a Rigondeaux. But I just think he more of a boxer.
Yeah,
but
and
he
was
just need to
exposed
stay
against
active.
Lomo against his lack of inside.
Yeah, he just need to stay active. That's all. But I appreciate you for calling in, AkHi, man. Always pleasure talking to you.
And good insight, man. Appreciate that.
All right.
Appreciate the call.
Yeah, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, man. This is the very last thing I'm gonna say. It was basically a mirror version of himself. He just wasn't as good as Gary Russell Jr. I think that Gary Russell Jr. would be better if he was at 135. I know a short time. You guys have a good day. God bless you. Thank you for letting Jules Left call in.
I appreciate it, fam. Anytime. Peace. So now I mess with my man, but I don't want to see Gary Russell at 135 after that performance. At least not yet.
Nah.
So that being said, moving on to the next topic, Rigondeaux won a split decision win, which he truly deserved because man, he been through so much. Boxing did him dirty. As y'all see his signature right there, Rigondeaux. When you're a real one, the real one's gonna recognize you. So I appreciate Guillermo Rigondeaux for the signature and the autograph on the glove. However, comment below who you thought won the debate. Me, Professor Nim, the caller, because I'm undefeated. I'm what Canelo wanna be. It's pound for pound #1 on split decision when it comes to debate. That being said, I appreciate all my AkHis. We're going to put the guns down and the gloves up. Shout out to Rigondeaux for winning by split decision, becoming a 2-time world champion at 2 different weight divisions. The Boogeyman. Shout out to Professor Nim.
3K, baby.
And like I said, everybody in the chat, subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't. And listen to these casual fans or AKA decafs, dumbass casual fans, because the casual fan ain't no disrespect. If you a casual fan and you want to be a hardcore, all you have to do is attend the AkHi University every Sunday live on Split Decision, and hopefully one day y'all will graduate from the AkHi University. And just like Dante always say, man, we speak the truth and nothing but the truth. We offer the book of the truth on Split Decision. So if you hate to hear the truth, man, you're going to hurt your feelings listening to us and your eardrum might bust. So like I said, man, I appreciate every single one of my AkHis. Take us out, Professor Nim, while I keep it rolling.